All right, it's Tuesday, July 21st. We've got 5 games here on the first 5 board that we want to get through with you today. We're going to start out in Anaheim, where the Cardinals and the Angels are back at it. Staying out west, the Dodgers actually out east in Philadelphia. That'll be the next game after that ridiculous slugfest last night. You got Cincinnati in Seattle, trying to forget that whole game happened last night. The White Sox are in Arlington, and they're hitting the ball like they own the building, while the Mets are in Milwaukee looking for something, anything to go right tonight. Hey, it's Raineri, WagerTalk.com. Let's dive into these games, and we're going to start with the Cardinals and the Angels, 9:38 Eastern Time first pitch. And you got St. Louis sending Matthew Liberatore into Anaheim, and the market had this thing priced like a coin flip, which is awfully generous to both of these lineups, considering that neither one of them can hit water if they fell out of a boat right now. Liberatore opened at a minus 108 favorite, kind of pick 'em, although Los Angeles was a little bit under that, minus 103, minus 104. It really hasn't moved at all throughout the day. You got Liberatore carrying a 5 ERA, and the underlying numbers, well, they land right on top of it. I mean, he's exactly that guy. He was really good his last time out, though. 6 scoreless against Atlanta, and that was, 10 days ago prior to the All-Star break. And he only needed 71 pitches to get through those 6 scoreless innings. But my goodness, the Angels are carrying with Walbert Urena, and I love Urena. I think he's great, but his 2.88 ERA makes him look a lot better than he actually is, because the underlying numbers tell me he's much closer to a mid-threes pitcher because he walks too many people. 5 of them, in fact, in 4 innings in his last game. That was 13 days ago. And now the offenses with these two teams, my goodness, St. Louis against right-handed pitching over the last couple of weeks has been the worst in baseball. And I mean the worst. We're talking about a 520 OPS. And no, I'm not kidding. That is how bad they have been. They've scored just over 4 runs a game over the last week, though. So they are getting runners on base. But against right-handers, they have been helpless. And the Angels, well, they're no better. They have scored just 1.8 runs a game over the last week. And really, to me, that's where this game is. We've got a first 5 total sitting at 5. Which is asking these two lineups for 6 runs in 5 innings, even against 2 pitchers that have a lot of question marks. I just don't see where that comes from. 2 lineups can't hit. You're asking them to score 6 runs in the first 5 innings. No thanks. I'll take the under through the first 5 in that one. All right, next game we're going to focus on has to do with the Dodgers at the Phillies, and that game is going to feature Justin Robleski taking the ball going up against Zach Wheeler. And listen, Robleski, 2.69 ERA. That is the single most misleading number on the board here tonight. Philadelphia opened up minus 140 in the first 5 as a favorite. The Dodgers around plus 110, 115. The underlying numbers put Robleski anywhere between the mid-3s to the low 4s. And the reason is simple. He just doesn't miss that many bats. Not to mention his last start was 2 weeks ago, 14 days ago. So Philadelphia, though, they're sending Zach Wheeler, and there's nothing to decode with him. 2.13. The underlying numbers back it up. He misses more bats than just about anybody in the league, really, at this point. And Philadelphia against left-handed pitching over the last couple of weeks has been one of the best in Major League Baseball. An 834 OPS against lefties. Trey Turner has been crushing it. Bryce Harper has also started to swing it well. And the Dodgers over that same stretch, well, they've been below average against right-handed pitching. Yes, these two teams combined for 17 runs last night. I'm not building anything on one game. And Wheeler is not the arm that you fix a 2-week slump against. We do have some weather in our forecast. We're talking about 90 degrees, and we're talking about 14 to 15 mile per hour winds dead out to center field in this game. So laying 135, 140 in the first 5 innings for the Philadelphia Phillies. It's a little expensive. I think they're going to get the Robleski before the Dodgers get to Wheeler. So I'd even be willing to lay the half a run in the first 5 with the Philadelphia Phillies in this one at a much better price. All right, now we got a few more games that we want to get to here. Before we do that, I want to ask you to hit the subscribe button, become part of that WagerTalk TV family. We certainly appreciate you taking the time to watch this. Smash that like button, guys, and drop me a comment below. Tell me, what is your favorite first 5 pitcher of the night here as we get ready to head to Seattle. All right, now here's one worth a second look because you got Cincinnati, who opened up at around a minus 130 favorite for the first 5 tonight. But the full game, well, that was sitting around minus 105, 106. So the market is asking you to pay more for half a game than for the whole thing. And the Reds, well, here's your answer, are sending Chase Burns to the mound. And his 2.54 ERA is just a little prettier than he has actually pitched. The underlying numbers say low 3s. He's striking out everybody, and that part is real. But the command sometimes, not always there. And you saw that his last time out. 6 walks in 5 innings, took him 106 pitches to get there. That was 13 days ago. Now, Seattle, they're sending Luis Castillo to the mound, and his 4.93 ERA is, believe it or not, actually selling him a little bit short because the underlying metrics say he's actually better than that, mostly because he doesn't beat himself with walks this season. And Cincinnati against right-handed pitching over the last couple of weeks has actually been pretty decent. 783 OPS. Ellie De La Cruz, Tyler Stevenson are starting to do some damage. Yes, they got shut out last night, 8-0. But that was one night. Seattle against righties over the same stretch has been near the bottom of the league. 616 OPS. So I'm staying off the game total because that one needs Seattle to hold up their end of the bargain. And they just haven't hit enough consistently for me to do that. And I'm not paying a steeper price for 5 innings than the market's charging for 9, even with Burns on the mound. I think Cincinnati's team total over through 5 might be a good look. I think there is some value there because I do think the Reds will get to Castillo before Seattle gets to Burns. All right, we got another one coming up here in Arlington with the White Sox at the Rangers. Texas sending Kumar Rocker out in Arlington. Houston, by the way, lit him up for 7 in under 6 innings. And the White Sox just hung 10 last night on this Rangers team. So why do I want Texas and their lineup in this spot? Well, because of who Chicago is running out there. Rocker, 4.40 ERA. The underlying metrics sit right around that. He's exactly that kind of pitcher. But again, I told you, his last big league start was 10 days ago, and it wasn't good. While Chicago is sending Noah Schultz. And to me, this is the story in the play here. 5.60 ERA, and nothing underneath is going to rescue him here. He cannot find the strike zone. He looked fine his last time out. 5 innings and a run, but that was against an Athletics lineup that has just absolutely gone cold. Well, everyone is hurt. But don't mistake that for a trend in the upward direction here, because Texas against left-handed pitching over the last couple of weeks has been one of the best in the league. 837 OPS. They've only scored 4 a game over just this last week. And those two things disagree. But against a lefty tonight, it's the better split. And I am going with what they have done against left-handed pitching. Jock Peterson has been crushing it. And even though Chicago is scoring a little over 6 a game over the last week, they're 4-1 in their last 5. So I want nothing to do with a total that needs the White Sox to disappear. I don't see that happening. But Texas is around minus 135 right now. Chicago around plus 106. I don't need to lay it. Again, this is another one where a team total for Texas over through the first 5. That is the ticket that I want to be on in this spot. Now, we got one other game here I'm going to break down. Before we do, I want to remind you that it is $5 Tuesday over at WagerTalk.com. That means $5 best bets. It's that simple. It's customer Appreciation Day. I am locked and loaded for you guys right now with one of my top plays tonight for $5. You can grab that over at my page with the shortcut code WT.buzz/JR. I also have a big free play game up on my page as well. Go check out both of those. And for $5, let's partner up here and make this a very profitable Tuesday night while we get ready to cover the last game, which is going to be the Mets and Brewers. And the Mets are sending Zach Thornton into Milwaukee, 2.60 ERA, and that is built on a total of 3 career starts. Yes, a whole 3 career starts. And the market is treating that number like it actually means something because the underlying numbers, even that's split on him. One says he's been about that good. The other says, yeah, he's closer to a 4 pitcher. With 3 starts on his card, there's barely anything, I think, to judge here. And you'd be paying a price that built on nothing at this point. Meanwhile, Milwaukee's Brandon Sproat sitting at 5.16, and the underlying numbers, they agree with that. He's been exactly a 5 ERA pitcher. Why? Because he walks too many guys. And when he does, boy, do these innings go long with him. And the Mets against right-handed pitching, believe it or not, over the last couple of weeks has been top 3rd in the league, 761 OPS. They've only scored 3.5 a game over this last week. Despite the success at the plate, it hasn't translated into wins for them. But again, we've got 2 things here that might be disagreeing, but against a right-handed thrower, yeah, I kind of like that spot here. Francisco Lindor has been actually swinging it halfway decently. Yes, the Brewers have been the better club. 4-1 in their last 5. They've averaged over 5 runs a game this past week. They just put up 8 last night. But they're against left-handers. Nah, even a lefty coming off a small sample, I just don't think there's enough there to fade the Mets on. So Milwaukee opened at minus 140, 141. It's sitting right around that number. But I am not laying that with Sproat on the mound. Sorry. Half a run with the Mets, getting that half a run through the first 5. I'm okay with that because I think that is where the value is. And there you got it, guys. 5 games here in the first 5 looks here tonight on this Tuesday, July the 21st. Again, don't forget, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, become part of the WagerTalk TV family. And don't forget, $5 best bets tonight over at WagerTalk.com. Customer Appreciation Day. Take advantage of it. Head over to my page, WT.buzz/JR. Grab that $5 best bet here tonight. Also, check out that free play I have posted on my page at WagerTalk.com. Love this stretch of Major League Baseball here. We got a trade deadline coming up. Teams are going to be making moves. Guys are paying or playing rather for their next contract or their next team. Lot going on here over the next couple of weeks in Major League Baseball, and I love it. So hope you guys enjoy these first 5 videos. Again, drop me a comment below. Tell me what's the first 5 starting pitcher you trust the most tonight. Drop that in the comments and make plans to come back and join me again tomorrow as we do it all over for another edition of First 5. Good luck.